Check, check. Okay, cool. This thing's on. Wow. Brandi, thank you so much for having me. This is incredible. As Brandi said, we went to the same high school, about a decade late. But the cool thing is, right when I finished college, I met Brandi through Fashion Denver, naturally. I was like, hey, I have this clothing brand called Genius Inc., and that's where the story will begin. So yeah, I had a fashion brand, Genius Inc., and Brandi was gracious enough to host me. I don't know what mansion were we at? We were at some mansion over in Cap Hill. You know, they have all the funky mansions over there. And we were up top hanging out and just doing our thing. And I had some tank tops that I have pictures of me in these tank tops, and God, they're awful when I look at the pictures now, but I thought the design was so sick. But yeah, no, that led me into my journey in Denver in terms of the creative world. I didn't know what was going on. I left, I went to school in Georgia, and I was like, hey, like, things are so different than Georgia. Everybody's looking up, so I'm like, okay, cool. I just need to make sure I'm on topic. But yeah, this is really where the journey starts. It goes from a brand called Genius Inc., where I was doing cut and sew leggings, cut and sew everything. I wanted everything made in Colorado. I didn't understand the cost of manufacturing fabric, any of that. I was sourcing fabric from North Carolina, having a lady in Aurora, Diana Elhesse, the best, literally the best. She would cut and sew leggings and all these intricate t-shirts, and like the clothing that I have from that day, what's that, 14 years ago? I don't want to date myself, but that clothing is still like in such good condition. And I'm obsessed with quality. I'm obsessed with details. If anybody knows me, they know that I like put my heart and soul into all of those little things, because it makes the experience just that much better for the person who's receiving it on the end, and it makes it last. I don't like making things that get thrown away, which, you know, with Genius Inc., that led me into a brand called Be a Good Person. And if you guys have heard of that, I'm one of the co-founders, along with Darian Simon as the other founder, and then a few other people on that journey, which is so interesting because our warehouse is right here, and this is where we'll start, and we'll get authentic and we'll get real. And I was fired from that building right across the street as a co-founder. That's why you keep your equity. But it's one of those things that taught me a lesson, right? You know, we were curating things for the city that I think were unprecedented at the time. We didn't know what we were doing. I didn't have a business background. I didn't have a fashion background. I just went with, that's how I am. If you know me, I'm just down to take the risk and send it and say, hey, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna work with whoever we work with. Like, you know, we're gonna focus on this thing of curate. And I'm gonna read the definition from Merriam-Webster, because I have it on my phone, and I think it's important that I say this out loud so that I remember to stay on topic. To curate means to select, organize, and present a collection of items, content, or experiences with thoughtful care. Originally used for museum professionals managing art, it now broadly applies to sorting through information, music, retail products, or digital media for a specific audience or purpose. So that leads me to, what is curation for me? Curation for me is all of those things, but curation also means connecting community and using the things you've curated and the life you've curated and the art you've curated to bring people together, because that's all we have. I think everybody in this room, raise your hand if you're sick of social media. Okay, so me too. I mean, I have to use it because obviously we know that's the fast track to business, and we know that's the easiest way. But for me, I think the most beautiful thing we did at Be a Good Person was when we were actually curating community events. You know, we had national brands. I see people sitting here in the front row that we curated with, like Fitness in the City. Stefan, raise your hand. Fitness in the City and like Fitness on the Rocks was actually the first time we actually did anything big with Be a Good Person. It was like, oh, let's go to Red Rocks and we're just gonna pop up this booth. We were a new company. We were afraid of everything. We're like, somebody's gonna take our brand, it has such a general name, we'll get a trademark. The first trademark lawyer told us to ride the wave and just make the money and then go away. He literally told us we weren't gonna get a trademark. But then when we actually got into the process of trademarking and worked with a lawyer who believed in it. He got us an actual national trademark, which was insane. And it's like, how do you trademark the word, such a general phrase? He's like, you can figure it out. Just make sure you have an identity. We had a shirt that said like Netflix and chill. And he was like, yeah, take that away. he's like, yeah, nah, don't. You don't need to sell anything else. He's like, sell your message. And we did that at Fitness on the Rocks. That was the first time we actually sold a lot of clothes. And I think it was high numbers and it was crazy. We were watching people buy our clothes and say, what is this? And it was the first time we saw the power of like actual curation, because during that we were doing a custom tie-dye station where everybody was using far too much tie-dye ink. We're like, relax, that thing's gonna turn brown. What are you doing? But it led us into such a good like track of doing different things. Topo Chicos, the Broncos, Lululemon, everybody that we worked with, especially pre-2022, I was directly involved with the curation of it. It's like, I'm obsessed with details. I think that's the most important thing I'll keep reiterating. And I think curation is all about the little details. Can you find things that make your life a little bit easier? Can you find things that make everybody smile? What's the little detail that you're gonna put? When we had our original shirts, we used to put the tag BAGP with the most basic concept on the front of it. Because it's like, okay, somebody flips it up, they see this little BAGP, they see the most basic concept on the bottom, they're like, whoa, this is such a nice little detail. But like, one of my influences and inspirations, I have two of them, and if you know me, you know these are my favorite clothing designers growing up. It's Mark Echo and Johnny Cupcakes. Those two I would meet Johnny Cupcakes every time he would come to Denver. Johnny Earl come to Denver, I'd be like, I'm gonna be at your pop-up. Oh my God, it's so nice to meet you. And nobody knew what I was geeking over, but that's the people who really taught me curation. And then in Echo Unlimited, if you know Echo Unlimited, everybody knows Echo Unlimited. It's at Marshall still for the last 25 years. It's a mega brand, but the way Mark Echo used to use details, insane. Who's familiar with the magazine, Complex Magazine? We know Complex Media, we know Complex. That's Mark Echo. Nobody realizes he founded that. Actually, I guess he just got reinstated as the creative director there. And that's powerful because you can go away from things and you can let things sit and let things fizzle out. And my dad always says time heals everything. So it's interesting being fired from this building and being where I am now. So post 2022, it's like, I didn't know what to do. I was, rock bottom, like lowest I've ever been in my life. What do I do? Who do I lean into? Lean into family, friends, girlfriend at the time, and just say, I'm gonna freelance. I was gonna move to Miami. I was ready. I was like, I'm out of this place. I'm not coming back. But it's like I had curated so many different things in the city that it was almost hard to leave. And that's what I think happens in Denver sometimes. All the best artists tend to just, not the best, but there are a lot of really great artists, and some of the best ones do tend to leave. Whether it's an artist, model, musician, they always think LA, New York, everything, but there's always a chance to curate. Here, there's such an opportunity to curate within the city, and we need it. We need that process of art to community and that process of actual curation that requires like the nitty-gritty details, the things that people don't think about. And that's where I like to come in and like really put my touch on things. So in 2023, I was so freaking blessed to be in the building, curated by Adam Gordon. If anybody knows Adam, he's one of the most talented curators of artists in the city. The Temple Denver is where my studio is at. And it's myself, it's Detour, Jazz Holmes was there, she just left, Marcus Omega, some of the coolest typographers, designers, painters, photographers. Nicola does Old Black Kettle, she wet plate photographer, and we have some more really talented people coming in, but like Adam has put that together and allowed us to roam free for a really like affordable cost to artists, something that if I was in New York, my studio would be $6,000 a month. I couldn't even afford it. I couldn't even live, And that was the big discussion. Should you go to a different city where maybe you make more money, but like it's like if you make $1 million and spend 999,000, then it doesn't really matter, does it? Because you're still breaking even, and your quality of life is a lot more expensive. So Adam put together this team of creators and artists and has allowed us to just thrive. I think Faal was in my space, which is amazing, right before I got in there, So it's just like the circular nature and the aura of the universe kind of bringing everybody back together and linking everything up, So for me, like once I did, let me see what slides up. Okay, yeah, then the then is the be a good person. The then was that identity, which, I leaned into, but I would always say, like, I am not Mr. Be a Good Person, I'm Julian Donaldson. Like, there's such a difference between brand and person. But everybody knew everybody at Be a Good Person as, we were those people on the street. And it was fun to take a step out for me, even through the pain and thinking about things that were different, like to see what everybody thought and to actually tap in with the community and hear shit. I mean, I heard we were cold. I heard all kinds of different things that, it's like when you look at it from hindsight, you're like, damn, maybe we weren't always putting our best interest. Maybe we were doing this, maybe it was for clout, maybe it was for fame, maybe it was for whatever. But, at the bottom line is like, we were just doing this as people. And the original ethos of the brand was to make the world a better place. So that was the then, and curation played a big part in that. I think my favorite events that we curated were like our neighborhood cleanups. Topo Chico would be like, okay, what do you guys want to do? We're like, let's clean the block. You guys are producing waste. We're producing clothing. Let's figure out how to clean everything up. At least make our little section of the world a little bit better. We always said we got to leave things better than we found them. So it's like, that's one of the most important things in curation. Can you go into a place and leave it better than you found it? And a lot of people forget about those things, like curation also in art, we forget it comes with a lot of trash. There's a lot of trash in art. There's a lot of waste, a lot of plastic waste. We were doing clothing, we'd do clothing for events, Global Dance Fest, all these different things. And I'm looking at the amount of waste and I'm like, whoa. There's a better way to do this. So are we at the now yet? No, we're not at the now. Can we go to the now? Okay, so that brings me to present day. With the studio that I got to start at Adam Gordon's spot, the Temple Denver. So everybody, if you have your phone, I'm not gonna be offended, look up the Temple Denver. That's where all of our stuff is. That's where all the artists will be posted. There's some amazing, amazing artists. And like I said, it's painters to everybody. And my studio there, I got WNRD Studio for short. And that name came from We Never Really Die, which was really funny because when I was at Be a Good Person, I was like, I really want to make this shirt, We Never Really Die. And I didn't realize that Pharrell had done No One Ever Really Dies. Nerd, N-E-R-D, if we're familiar. And it wasn't even a play on that. I just didn't even realize until honestly, 2 years later when I was in the studio and somebody's like, is this a play on nerd? I was like, oh shit, it seems like it, but it's not intentional. And what the thing is, it's like they say energy can't be created nor destroyed, right? And when I was at BAGP, I felt like I was being destroyed. But then when We Never Really Die started, it was like, you can't kill me. I'm always gonna be here. It's so annoying, isn't it? And it was one of those things that I embraced, and I had to work really hard to form an identity outside of Be a Good Person. I mean, to this day, people are still like, hey, can we collab on something? And I'm like, hey, I'm gonna pass you this email that you can go check. If they get back to you, I don't know. I'm not involved in that kind of sense. But I will always kind of forward the message and make sure everybody gets connected the right way. And with the studio, it's like, I've had so many influences in there, from Detour to Adam to Desiree, who was my art director, and a lot of different people who come in and they just want to create freely, without bounds, without doing anything crazy. And last year, I was like, man, I really got to do a gallery. That was priority numero uno, because I've shot all kinds of things. In 2023, I was blessed to go to the FIFA World Cup with the Jamaican women's national team. My dad's the head coach, so there was a little bit of nepotism, but also they didn't have a photographer, let's be real. They were gonna take phone pictures, and I was like, hey, I don't need anything, just make sure I'm there with you guys, and I will shoot this on, if you know cameras, I shot everything on an A7S III, which is a 12 megapixel sensor. The pictures are tiny, but if you know what you're doing, you can make it work. If you get a long enough lens, you can make it work. Most cameras can handle that job, and I did it. I was with Jamaica for literally a full year, and we got to witness history. Everything on my hard drives is history. Jamaica made it out of their group. They had Brazil, France, Panama in their group. It was deemed for sure the group of death for Jamaica, and they knocked Brazil out the World Cup. So if you know football, you know that's a big deal. Leading into 2024, everything that we were doing was like editorial. And that's what people started to know us for in the city. They're like, okay, cool. You guys do these funky editorial shoots. We did stuff with Division West, if you're familiar, old Denver staple. And a lot of these projects we were just taking for little to nothing because I was like, I have a photography portfolio, but it consists of pictures from 2017 through 2019, and it consists of soccer pictures. I gotta actually build something that is solid so that when I'm trying to actually do business, I can prove that I can do it. And I don't, like everybody, I think even somebody said it today, they like have a niche. I don't consider myself having a niche in photography. I'll do whatever we wanna shoot. We wanna shoot film, we wanna shoot food, we wanna shoot fashion. I'm here for it all. Like, give me the chance and I'm gonna shoot it. I don't care what it is. Actually, my main source of income last year was documentary film work, which is so different for me, but it was fun. I got to learn what a production team is. I got to learn how to be a camera op. I got to learn what a director wants from you. I got to sit in the trenches. I was down. Give me 16-hour days. I don't really care. I'm like, hey, like, let's go after it. And that leads me into 2025. Like 2025 was one of those years where I felt like I was establishing myself as a actual photographer, not just somebody who like had a camera and knew how to use it. I was like, okay, there's rules to this. There is rules, but it's not that the rules can't be broken. There's just rules. There's ways you shoot. There's ways you shoot e-commerce. There's ways you shoot, there's ways you shoot lifestyle. There's different rules to this game that a lot of people, and especially the younger generation, and I love you guys for it, that they want to break all the rules. But it's like having a creative director versus an art director versus a PA versus an actual director and a producer. Those are all different roles. And I think we've lost the guise of like respecting those roles, and I go back and forth because I hate it and I love it at the same time, because like it's almost brazen. You get the younger generation, they're almost brazen with the things they want to do. They're like, hey, like I have this idea. I'm like, hey, I don't need you to have that idea. I just want you to operate the camera for the party, like. And I'm direct, and even when I was at BAGP, I think that was a little bit of the downfall of how direct I was with the younger generation. I'm just like, hey, like, no, I don't need you at this meeting. It's not for you. It's okay. I don't like you any less. I don't think of your work any less. I just don't need. That's not what the business needs. That's not what we're gonna do to progress. Let us get you there, and let us help nurture you and mentor you. And there's a lot of kids in the city that I've mentored. I got a team of 2 interns right now. I've never had interns this competent though, which is, it's crazy. Like and no shade to like the interns I had before, it's just the interns I have now they know how to use a camera, they know how to edit in Premiere. The kid that I'm using for Premiere, or my video editor, unbelievable. I'm taken back every time he hands me something. I'm like, oh, holy shit, you understand the process more than I understand the process, which is crazy because you're 20. But he's been editing videos for 10 years, since he was 10 years old. So it's like his experience outweighs my experience. So I actually have to sit and listen to him and learn from him, which is that benefit of being open-minded with the younger generation and feeling like you want to help and mentor. You don't want to just give them something and say, I'm going to control you. You have to do it this way. No, you let them do that. And that's how you curate better minds. That's how you curate better art for the community. That's how you curate different things that really, really inspire. And one of the things I think has been most important for me this year is learning how to actually curate like my own life, from business to brand to now this gallery, people, places, and things. So I got the craziest opportunity of a lifetime. I went in for a meeting, because Detour doesn't really say anything when you talk to him. He's just like, oh yeah, man, yeah. Nah, come on, yeah, it's good, nah, it's good. Yeah, you good at 11? I'm like, yeah, Thomas, just tell me where to go. He's like, we're gonna meet Tree at 11. I'm like, okay, cool, where are we meeting her? At the gallery. I'm like, which gallery? He's like, the one you've been by. Like, I've been to this gallery 100 times, just looking in the window like this, like, what are they gonna do with this space? And we meet her, and she's like, so you're on board? I'm like, this is like 6 minutes into the conversation. I barely introduced myself. I'm like, hey, I'm Julian. Like, she's like, oh, I know who you are. I'm like, okay. She's like, so yeah, what do you want to do in here? I was like, oh, I'm locked in. We're good. So I had this on-the-spot idea, and I'm usually better at on-the-spot. I like freestyling things. I think it's the most natural version of myself. And I was like, hey, I want to do this gallery called People, Places, and Things. And, it's like all the people I've been around, all the things I've got to curate, all the places I've been to, because at this point, my mom was really worried when I was younger. She's like, you're not going to travel anywhere. You're just going to do this be a good person thing forever. You're never going anywhere, are you? I would miss family vacations. I would miss everything. I'm like, no, I got to work. Sorry. And then it was a blessing in disguise, all the things that I went through, because then I forced my hand to travel. I was in Australia, Japan, England, Jamaica, New York, Miami, LA, Chicago, everywhere. Everywhere you can go that seems cool, I got to visit. And I'm so blessed that I got that, because not everybody gets that opportunity, and I know how much money it costs to do those things. So People, Places, and Things came up, and I was like, man, I don't want a gallery of just myself. Like, I'll have myself in there a lot because it's my thing, but like, there's this whole world, there's this whole community of people that I've been blessed to meet over the years. And I'm like, man, we're gonna set this thing on fire. We're gonna blow this out the water. And I signed the contract June 1st. I got my keys June 8th, through my first gallery June 12th. I was like, let's go. We're fully in it. And the things that have gone down, it's like, everything I learned about curation with Be a Good Person was put into this gallery, and it made it that much easier. I was like, okay, remember the little things. You haven't done retail / pop-ups in a really long time. Just remember the little things. What matters? A clean space, making sure things are taken care of. I mean, the Friday before, I was like, hey guys, these walls still aren't painted. We had been asking for a couple weeks. We were like, hey, I just want the space to be at least just freshly painted so we can hang art, and we'll mess the walls up and we'll fix them and we'll patch them. Do you guys have the paint? They're like, we don't know the paint the contractors used. I was like, well, your maintenance guys came in and they put drywall everywhere, so it's just gray right now. They're like, sorry, we're not gonna be. I'm like, do you just have white paint? I don't give a shit what color it is. I just need some white paint. We'll figure out the rest later. And it's like, that's the power of just being able to roll with the punches. You have to roll with the punches in curation. And that's one of the things that I think people forget. Is like, there's stuff that's gonna go wrong every single time. It doesn't matter if you plan it to a T. You have to be able to roll with the punches and be like, I messed this up, or this wasn't working. Even yesterday, my label printer for all the little place cards for each piece, dude, that thing was not working. It's supposed to be one button, you push it, and it prints all the things at once. Oh no, we were printing them individually, resetting the printer every time. The printer was throwing sparks at us, honestly. The girl that works for me, Claudia, she's like, man, I don't know, if I come in here and I get electrocuted, my parents are gonna be really pissed at you. I'm like, I promise, just keep turning it off before you unplug it. How about that? But that's the power of curation, and being able to have the will of mind to not be like turned off by something when something goes wrong. Because something's, like I said, something's always gonna go wrong. And it's always, even if it feels like it's in your power to control it, even if you think you planned it perfect, that's okay. Like yesterday, we had the door open. I look at my sister, I look at my friend, I'm like, I need the hex key for the front door so I can unlock it, but we gotta close it. Because who saw the wind yesterday? It was scary, actually. the front door flew open, boom, hits the railing. Then I literally go to the closet, boom, the mirror just absolutely shatters. So me and all my friends were like, naturally, we're like taking selfies. We're like, sick, cool. Oh shit, I better go find a car. I gotta cover this up. But it's like those things go wrong and you gotta roll with the punches. In terms of how the space, people, places, and things has been curated, I actually had an opening gallery June 12th through the 22nd, so 10 days. And then in 2 days, we turned it into a whole different gallery, which was so freaking special. I mean, like, I'm a soccer person, my whole family is. We're big soccer people. We're in the community, we're coaches, we're players. My dad has coached longer than I've been alive. My sister over here has played longer than I've been alive. So, you know, like, we get to host the World Cup party, but I don't want just like a World Cup watch party. No, I want a gallery. I want art. I want installation. I want it to be something that people walk into and they're like, I've never been a part of anything like this in my life. What is this place? And that's what we've turned that little corner of 40th and Walnut into. I'm trying to convince ODBs to stay open a little bit later. I'm like, dude, there's nowhere to eat over here. Just stay open till like 6. They're like, yeah, we're gonna wait till the other buildings are built. I'm like, I'm gonna have a building over there by the time you guys get the other building built, so stay open later. You're gonna make a lot of money. And it's not always about the money, but like, it's about serving community and the neighborhood needs. And now we've got the space jiving and popping. We did the opening gallery and it was mostly people in like places that I had been to, and it was all of my work. But this gallery for the World Cup, it's so amazing because I had actual World Cup photographers, people that I'm friends with, people that I've known over the years, Ashley Orleana, Trey Madera, Anthony Martinez, some of the best in the game, like just sending me pictures. And I'm like, hey, I'm not gonna sell your work, I just want to display. I just want to give you a platform to have your work displayed. I got pictures of Lionel Messi. One of the best pictures of the World Cup is Lionel Messi going like this after he scores a goal, and this girl, Ashley, took it. And I was like, can I please put that on display in my gallery? She's like, no problem. And it's just, curation also takes asking. And that's the hard part. Who likes asking for things? See, we got like one hand, but nobody really likes asking for anything. I don't like asking for stuff. I don't like asking for anything. I don't like asking for help. I don't like asking for food if I'm hungry. I don't like asking for water if I'm thirsty. Like, I am just gonna go and I'm gonna figure it out, and I don't want anybody else to be bothered with my problems. But the part in curation that I've really realized, you have to ask, and you have to ask, and sometimes asks they sound like demands, but they're just requests, stern requests like, hey, I need this, please. And especially with the people that you're working with for the building. You know, that's one of the things in curation, especially art curation, that's important. You gotta ask those things out of the people that you're working with. Hey, we didn't have tables. I don't have the budget to buy tables, projectors, all this different things. You're an apartment complex, do you have tables? Okay, can we use these tables until we can afford our own tables? Do you have cleaners? You don't have cleaners. Okay, I'm gonna have to pay for that. That's fine. It's understanding your budget. Curation also requires understanding your budget. So at the gallery, once we switched everything, I knew the plan was always to get to a place where we're gonna have pop-ups for clothing and stuff. So when we do these clothing pop-ups, everything comes down. All the paintings come down, all the photographs come down, all the pictures off of the wall come down, and whoever is using the space, I've shot with. So I'll have work up, but we'll also do it in conjunction with their vision. It's like, hey, I'm only gonna have 1 or 2 pieces up, the rest is you. One of my favorite people in this room, or not in this room, in the industry, clothing-wise, look it up, it's lowkey.industries, lowkey.industries. And Rafi he's one of the most strong-willed people I know, and he's one of the most stubborn people I know, but for a good cost. He owns his business 100%, and I respect him for that. And he designs jackets and garments based on literature. It's unbelievable, honestly. He's done a Fahrenheit 451 jacket. He's done a 1984 jacket, Ministry of Truth jacket. That's what we're living in right now. So if you know 1984, that's what's going down. And he's he, he's got to pop up there July 1st, or 31st, sorry. So we have a bunch of different things that we're curating for the community because I don't want this to be about me. I could look at my shit for 3 months and be like, so happy that I'm looking at it, but like, I already look at myself in the mirror every day. That's enough. I'm like, oh, no, I don't need that anymore. So curation also involves involving other people, right? We have such a responsibility to involve our neighbors in the community and let them know what we're doing and have real conversations with people. I think that's one of the biggest things people forget when they're doing art, right? We forget that we have neighbors. We forget that we have community. We forget we have people that have similar interests and we don't even know it. Because half the time we're like, I just got to get to what I'm doing. Oh, I'm not going to look this way. I'm going to pretend I'm on the phone. Like, we got to stop those behaviors if we're going to survive as a society. I truly believe that. I truly believe everything we're doing in society now, in this community, in this art community, where I see 100 people in a room, like, hearing me. I didn't think I would do this year. I just thought, hey, like, we're going to all participate in something good, but like, this is different. And this is reminding us that, hey, like, we are in this together, no matter what the government does, no matter what other people do, we are all here in this room together and we have to curate things and experiences so that the younger generation is like, cool. They don't even want to look at their phones, to be honest. Most of the Gen Z kids I know, most of the Gen Alpha kids, Gen Alpha's a little different. I mean, they're a little different, but Gen Z really, like, they look at their phones and they're turned off. They're like, Instagram? You guys still post on there? The kid that does my videos, he's incredible, and he doesn't even post on Instagram. I love it. He's like, oh, I don't use Instagram. He's like, I use TikTok to teach myself Vietnamese. I'm like, all right. Well, you're a real one, Brian. Like, I respect it, but I also see that disdain for technology. They want to go thrifting. They don't want to abuse the planet. They want to have a planet to live in. And that's the thing we have to remember when we're curating things and when we're selecting people that we want on our team. How do you curate a team? That's one of the things we don't talk about. How do you curate a team that is hardworking, talented, but even if they're not talented, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. I truly believe that. They can learn talent. You can teach people. And that's one of the things in curation that I think is so, so important. But anyways, my gallery is 40th and Walnut next to ODB's, 1350 40th Street. I really, really hope to see some new faces. And this was just, what a way to start the weekend? What is it, Friday? Yes. What a way to start the weekend. And thank you guys so much. Of course. Yeah, let's get it.
What do you do to just chill?
Okay, so ADHD brain. Actually tested, like in college, like that neurodivergent wasn't a word. You have ADHD and it's severe, you need Adderall. No, I'm cool on the Adderall. I will smoke some weed. No, that's not what. Nah, I mean, to chill, like literally, my favorite place to chill is actually like my family's house. In the backyard with my mom and dad, sister when she's here. But that's chill. Everything else, like I truly wake up and I feel like I have the coolest job in the world because I get to go make art every day and create cool things, and I don't ever feel that stressed. I told somebody that yesterday. I was like, even if my bills are like piling up, even if my health is bad, I don't ever feel that stressed. I feel like I'm getting an opportunity to do things that a lot of people would want to do. So like chilling, I don't know, like I went from, and this is like a humble brag, on Wednesday night, one of my buddies is like, hey, you're working on Wednesday. I was like, okay, yes. He's stronger than me, so I had to do it. He's like, you're gonna shoot Wiz Khalifa at the club. I was like, oh shit, okay. I'll be there. So I shot Wiz Khalifa, I got home at 1, then I was at the studio at 7. I was like, let's go.
What do you think of this idea? Because I haven't been diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I too have ADHD. Wouldn't it be kind of cool to have ADHD TV?
It would just keep switching. Man, I think like the success of like people, places, and things in the gallery is like, in 2 weeks, I've seen over 300, 400 people, which is unprecedented for me. I mean, the only time I ever felt this kind of like, okay, we're on the right track was when we started Be a Good Person, like really felt it in my core. This time I'm like, all right, I love this gallery. I love Denver. I want to do it elsewhere. I just want to do another one. I think we could take it on the road. I think we could do some cool stuff with it. And I also have like such a beautiful studio at the Temple building that it's fun for me to be able to do that. And hopefully the goal is to be able to pay for that, but not always be there and let the younger kids use it, because I don't need to be there. I can physically do my work elsewhere and have the studio available and take people, places, and things to different states. And it doesn't even have to be called People, Places, and Things. It could be something else. But I honestly want to travel a little bit and just see what else is out there in terms of those states that I do think are too expensive, but how can I talk them into making it an affordable thing for other people, where we keep the gallery free. I sell my artwork, I sell my prints, but I don't like charging an entrance fee. I feel crazy saying, hey, yeah, well, it's gonna be 20 bucks. It's gonna be 50 bucks to come in. No, I wanna keep curating and doing the things that I like to do in the art world, especially photography and design, and make sure it's accessible.
You were talking about your intern actually teaching you about some things with video editing. What do you think if we give him the assignment to edit your CreativeMornings video?
Oh, he's gonna try to have it done tonight, so I'm gonna be like, relax. I don't need it. I don't need it right this second, but yeah, no, I mean, listen, I think that's what the one key for the younger generation. If you give them the opportunity, they will take it and they will run. You can't say, oh, you're too young, because that's been the problem with everything. We've always said, you're too young, or you don't have experience. How do they get that experience without actually being granted it by people who have that experience?
I designed my very first handbag when I was 8. And just have people encourage me all along the way. That's exactly what it is. It's when we're kids and we're just playing and being creative. And when we can encourage that in our youth, that's when they're going to be doing these incredible things like editing and shooting video at the age of 10. I had a can and a string. Technology.
Skipping rocks.
Do you know the string can telephone?
Oh yeah, of course. That was the best game, because then you got to imagine that it was really, really, really far away. I'm in Tel Aviv, hello. I'm in Jamaica, I'm in Bangladesh. You're making up those stories, but that creativity comes from that's where my creativity comes from.
100%. All right, guys, it's 10:01. But it has been such an amazing and inspiring Friday. Thank you, Julian.
Thank you, Brandi. Thanks, y'all. Round of applause for yourselves. Thank you, Space Gallery. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for Al. We appreciate y'all.